Hello, and welcome to my tutorial series on how to make a collectible card game in Unity. In this video, we're going to continue on learning about our drag and drop system, and we're going to add in our two drop zones. Let's get started. So as I explained in the first video, I created this little side project to do the drag and drop tutorial because it was just going to be a little easier to explain a lot of the nuances of a drag and drop system away from this project, which has a lot of the other components that it interacts with. So just to deal with the pure drag and drop system, I created this side tutorial. And then in the end, I'll show you how it gets incorporated all together. I have here a little card I made, which is just very similar to the card prefab here. And now we're going to add a area to drop our card into, similar to what we have here for our player hand. And up here also there's a player zone one, which I haven't shown you how to build yet in this project, but we'll get to it. So we can go ahead and we can move our card around, and now we want to add the zone or hand area for it to be dropped into. I'm just going to go up to canvas. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go over to UI, and then I'm going to go all the way down to panel, and we'll just simply call this hand for the player hand area. And now it should be noted, I'll just show you here. We're going to right click on canvas again, go down to UI, and I'm just going to create an image. And I just wanted to show you that a panel and an image are very much the same thing. The only difference is the panel is given this default. Actually, it's probably going to go away. So let me do this again because it was in play. UI, panel, hand. Because it was in play, it didn't save anything there. And then I'll just create an image again. It doesn't matter what its name is. So anyway, as I was saying, the image and the panel are very much the same thing, only the panel has a default background, which is this opaque image right here. And then the image obviously does not. You would have to add your own sprite there. So let me just delete that. We're gonna go back to our panel, and I want to anchor this to the bottom of the screen for our hand zone. So I'm gonna go up here to the anchoring icon, and then I'm going to hit Alt and Shift. And you can see when I do that, it changes and it gives me some new options for anchoring. And here we have where on the screen I can lock it to. This is the bottom. And as you see, when I did that, you got these shapes moved here down to show that it's being locked to the bottom. And now I'm going to change its size, and I believe our card is 200. So let's go ahead and give this a height of 210. Then when I hit play, I should just be able to drag the card in here and it will fit nice and neat inside that panel. So the card is here, but it's not really, anchored to the hand zone. And I can do that by just simply making it a child of the hand. And now it's inside of it, and wherever I move the hand, it will move. But I'm also going to want a few more cards. So if I hit Control D a couple times, I can duplicate it. But, now when I add cards, if I really want to, space them out, I got to move them a lot. So just to make that a little easier, I can go over to the hand, and then I can go here to add component, and I could type in horizontal to get a horizontal layout group. And now you can see as soon as I did that, they spaced out, but they're still kind of crooked because they're aligned to the left-hand side here. So you can see if I went down here, I can go ahead and let's say make them middle center. So now they're completely evenly spaced from the center now. And if I were to just add more cards, it would always evenly space them out just like so. Now, one thing I want to do that I didn't do earlier, I actually wanted to set this as a prefab for my card. So I'm going to delete those. I'm going to bring this down here. And now I got a prefab going. So I'm going to delete that. And then right here on my prefab, what I'm going to add is something called a layout element. And now what this is going to do is that this is going to allow me to set, if I want, I'll put that at 0. I'm going to put this at 0. So basically what I wanted is that I want to make sure that in the layout, wherever I put it, it's going to remain the height and width that I want, because if you look here over to the hand, you have this force child expansion or child force expansion. And it didn't happen when I was doing it here, but maybe to some of you, this did happen where the card sort of took up the whole space of the play area. And that's because we had the force child expansion was on, and it was forcing it to expand, as it says, force its expansion. So I'm going to turn that off. And then I'm going to keep this on here because that's what I want to set it to. And I don't want a flexible height and width. I just want that at 0. I'm going to take this, put it back into my hand, and I'm going to go ahead and make my duplicates out of that. So get 1, 2, 3, and then that should solve that problem. Let's make our spacing a little better here. Let's see what happens when I just put 100. That's good enough for now. That's good enough right there. So now we're going to go to our drag script, and right here under our begin drag function right here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this line of code, this transform dot set parent parentheses, and then inside that, this dot transform dot parent dot parent. And now this looks a little odd, and this is mostly just for display. I'm just basically saying that the transform of the card we have, and we want to set its parent, obviously. So we're going to set the parent, and the parent we're going to set is the parent of our parent, which, if we look over here, is the canvas. So on begin drag, if I grab this card right here, or whatever of them, a new parent will set. I'll be able to drag it, and then it will be set to the canvas as a parent. So let's go ahead and hit save. So we're going to go back into the Unity editor, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And right here in the beginning, we can see that all our cards are parented under the hand, but as soon as I grab this one and move it up here, this card 1 right here, this got removed from this as its parent, and now is just a parent of canvas right now, the parent of our parent. But if I were to take this and put it back into there, it will just reset itself. So now what we've done is all well and good, but we don't want to necessarily be in a situation where we pull our card out and it automatically sticks to anywhere on the canvas. We only want it to go to certain areas. So we're going to set it so that if we pull our card out and it's not, another zone, it's just going to snap back into the original parent, into the hand zone down there. So going back to the script, we're going to go up here outside of that first function, and we're going to have a transform, and we're going to call it parent to return to, and we're going to go ahead and set that equal to we're just going to set that equal to null, actually. So did I write that all how I wanted to? Parent to return to. Okay, good. And now down here in our begin, we're going to say that parent to return to is going to equal this dot transform dot parent. So we're just saying parent to return to, when we on our begin drag, is going to be transform dot parent. And then down here at the end of our drag, actually, we're going to say that this dot transform dot set parent is going to be parent to return to. So that happens at the end of our drag. So now what we've done is all well and good, but we don't want to necessarily be in a situation where we pull our card out and it automatically sticks to anywhere on the canvas. We only want it to go to certain areas. So we're going to set it so that if we pull our card out and it's not, another zone, it's just going to snap back into the original parent, into the hand zone down there. So going back to the script, we're going to go up here outside of that first function, and we're going to have a transform, and we're going to call it parent to return to, and we're going to go ahead and set that equal to, we're just going to set that equal to null, actually. So did I write that all how I wanted to? Parent to return to. Okay, good. And now down here in our begin, we're going to say that parent to return to is going to equal this dot transform dot parent. So we're just saying parent to return to, when we on our begin drag, is going to be transform.parent. And then down here at the end of our drag, actually, we're going to say that this dot transform dot set parent is going to be parent to return to. So that happens at the end of our drag. So going back into Unity, we're going to go ahead and push play. And now when I lift this up, it's going to return right back to the original parent, which is what we want. We want to make sure it goes into the right zones. If we're going to put up a second zone, we want it to go there. But if we're not putting it into that zone, we want it to be able to snap back to its original parent. So now I want to create the zone in which I want to be able to drop my cards in. This is going to be my hand, and just like here in this project here, I have another play area, I guess sort of like a battle area is right here, that I want to drop everything in. So going back here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go say copy. And now in my canvas, I'm going to right click again and say paste. And now in here, I have actually, no, I need this to be inside my canvas. There we go. Now it's in my canvas. So now I have another copy of my hand area, and I'm just going to right click. We're going to rename it play area for right now. And also I'm just going to cut down on the number of cards here. So I'm just going to delete a couple. I don't need 2 full hands. So now when I hit play, I'll be able to go up and drop, but it still won't stick into the area. I have to now code its ability to be able to drop into the new area and not just snap right back into the player hand. So we're going to go ahead and create a new script, and we're going to go create C# script, and we're going to call this new script drop zone, and we're going to attach this script both to our hand zone and to this play area, because they're both going to need to be drop zones. Now we're going to open this up, and similar to this script right here, we're going to add, using Unity Engine .event system, and just like before, where we had our systems, not system, EMS. Anyway, going back to drag here, where we had our iBegin drag handler, drag and end handler. We're going to have similar things right here into our drop zone that are designed for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put a comma, and we're going to put an I drop handler, comma, I pointer enter handler, and an I pointer exit handler. And then we're going to have 3 similar functions to what we had in our drag script. We're going to have a public void on drop pointer event data, and then it's going to be called event data, and we'll put some curly brackets with it. And now we're going to take this, we're going to copy it, we're going to highlight it, copy, and then Control V to paste twice. And now this one, actually we'll put it in order here, I think, because it's on insert. But anyway, instead of on drop, we're going to put on pointer enter, and this one right here, we're going to say on pointer exit. So now we're going to fix a small problem. We're going to go into our drop zone. Actually, let's go into the drag script first, and I'm just going to copy one of these. I'm going to hit Control C after I highlight it, but then I'm going to comment them out so that way the console isn't getting overloaded with those messages. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to hit Control V to paste it here, and then I'm going to simply write drop so that we'll be able to identify our card when it's dropped. And so after saving, we're going to go back into Unity. So now we're going to fix a small problem. We're going to go back into our script. We're going to go into our drag script, and we're going to just comment out these debug logs right here. Actually, we're going to copy one of them. I'm going to hit Control C to copy that, but I'm still going to comment that out so they're not taking up the console messages. And I'm going to put this into drop by hitting Control V, but I'm going to write the word drop in it, and I'm going to hit save. And now I'm going to go back into Unity. And what I'm going to add to our card here, our card prefab, remember, whatever I add to the card prefab will be added to all these cards. I'm going to go to add components, and I'm going to find a canvas group. And in here, you're going to see that it says a blocked raycast. Actually, let's remove that component for a second, actually. And I'll show you this first. Hit save. And I'm going to hit play here. And now, when I pick this up, let's go to the console. When I go pick this up, why is that showing? Oh, because I didn't hit save here. Let's start that over. Is everything correct here? Yes. Okay, so that's cleared now, and I'll hit play again. So now when I hit drag, I should see drop being populated here in the console. It should be telling me I'm dropping a card in, but it's not. And the reason it's not is because when I pick up the card, there's actually, the way the card works is that there's a ray cast. There's a ray, almost like a beam that shoots down, to identify the zones and stuff. But the card is actually blocking it. And so when I add this component here, this canvas group, it has this block ray casts here, but it's going to, this is still going to get in the way of the dragging and dropping here. So I kind of want to turn it on and off as I drag and drop something. So let me just hit save and make sure all of them went on there. So I have to put into my code that I want to, turn the block raycast on and off, and that's done through this line of code. get component, canvas group, another greater than or less than a parentheses, dot, block, blocks, raycasts, and we're going to say that is going to equal to false. So that when I begin drag, it shuts the block raycast off. And then when I go to on end drag, we're basically just going to turn it back on. So that way the the card doesn't get in the way of the raycast, and then it goes back on. So I'm going to hit save. I think that all should be correct. A little sloppy typing that. One day I'll master typing and talking at the same time. So I'm going to hit play. I'm going to go to console, and now as you can see, now that it's no longer blocked, and I get these drop messages, and the time changes every time I do it. It doesn't show it every frame. So it's just going to say over and over again each time I do it. So we're going to stop right here. As you know, I like to keep videos within 20 minutes if I can. Sometimes it goes a little over, but we're just going to stop right here. This portion of the tutorial is kind of long, but I want to make sure everything gets covered appropriately. So as always, thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and support me on Patreon. And a big special thanks to all my Patreon supporters. See you next time.